What you are about to experience is out of this world. Politics, history, and of course, a lot of entertainment. It's time to rock it with the Docket.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with our very 114th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here as well, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so then you never miss one of my videos. So I don't remember if I mentioned it way in the past on former Dockery Docket episodes, but Elon Musk eventually paid $44 billion and actually bought Twitter. He then made the biggest dad joke of all time and brought a sink into the Twitter headquarters. He was trying to tell everyone that they should let the deal sink in. Let that sink in. You get it? Now, this was a long time ago, and since then a lot of things have happened. People that are more on the right side of the aisle have been reinstated on Twitter, including some cool commentators and the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. However, Donald Trump claimed that he wants to stay on Truth Social, which is boring and also stupid. Some people like Kanye West were brought back onto the platform, and then after his pro-Hitler rants that we talked about last week, and then he posted a swastika on his Twitter page, and so Elon Musk had enough of it and he had to ban him again. You can see, however, that Elon Musk is trying to give people second chances on social media. He is giving people an opportunity to come back on and make their voices heard. This is following along with the First Amendment. But apparently, people are just getting angrier and angrier at Elon Musk, and the question is why? Because there seems to be so many people that are coming after Elon Musk. Even though before Elon Musk bought Twitter, people were claiming that Twitter was a private company and that Twitter can do whatever they want, meaning they could ban people, they could suppress freedom of speech or do whatever they wanted because it was a free company, and now that Elon Musk comes in with his own money, now it's bad. Some people have calmly left the platform and went to different apps, which is 100% fine. Some people have complained that they are leaving Twitter just to come back on Twitter and claim that they have to stay on Twitter to fight in the resistance. Some celebrities, however, went a little overboard. As Alyssa Milano posted on Twitter a long time ago, back when Elon was the good guy, that she bought a Tesla, and she absolutely loved it. Then when Elon Musk became the bad guy for simply sending his own money to a corporation, she decided to get back at Elon Musk by selling her Tesla, and instead bought a Volkswagen electric vehicle. Now it's time for a pop quiz. Who was in charge of Germany when the Volkswagen was created? Oh, that's right. Adolf Hitler. So Elon Musk is now so bad that it's better to buy a car from a company that has ties to an evil dictator. That's why this stuff doesn't make sense to me on why people are hating on Elon Musk so much. As before he bought Twitter, he was a hero, as he was creating electric vehicles that were going to single-handedly save the environment. All that you needed to do was pay a very pretty penny. However, the wealthy celebrities were the ones that were buying these Teslas, and now the cars and their builders are now seen as terrible and evil. Then there are different discussions about why Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion when he could have single-handedly ended world hunger. I never heard this argument made for the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, who is very wealthy and could also end poverty and world hunger. If only he would give all of his money to the government. Both of these men are very wealthy, but they are treated differently by the media, as one of them is trying to protect freedom of speech, while the other one is actively trying to ban free speech and is actually getting praised for it. Now, a few weeks ago, China was having a big problem, as the number of COVID-19 patients and deaths were starting to rise in China. So China implemented their zero COVID policy, which means that if you may have had COVID or a family member might have COVID, then the government is allowed to take you and throw you into your apartment and seal it shut. So then you can't leave it all and spread your germs to other people. Well, the zero COVID policy turned deadly, as on November 24th, a fire broke out in one of these apartment buildings that held people that were sealed inside. According to CNN, some households with previous COVID-19 cases were also locked inside their houses, leaving them with no way to escape. According to reports, this led to 10 people to perish, but I don't trust the Chinese government, so there might have been more people that tragically passed away because communism sucks and they bolted people into their homes. This started something called the White Paper Revolution, as China is so strict on what people can say that people just put up regular sheets of white paper to show their support for the protesters that are breaking out across China. As these protests continued to break out all over China, the government has continued to try and stop them, as these protests have been happening in major cities and on college campuses. To stop them, the Chinese government is able to look at different text messages, like on WeChat, which is a very popular app in China. So a Chinese student can write someone and say, hey, we're going to go to a protest at the college tonight, and now the government knows where the protest is, and they can go and stop the protest. However, there is a way for these students to get around the Chinese censorship, and that is through an airdrop, which avoids all the Chinese government censorship, and the students or protesters are able to send whatever messages they want without the government knowing. This airdrop notification is only a feature on Apple iPhones, and it makes it so you can send funny memes to people or important messages to people if other people have their airdrops on. However, Apple is reliant on Chinese manufacturing, as most of Apple products are created in China and then they are shipped over to America. If a lot of people are protesting, then they're not going to work in the Apple stores, which means Apple wants these protests to stop too. So if the Chinese government tells Apple to do something, Apple is ready and willing to do it because Apple wants money, and if people are protesting, then they can't get that sweet money. As according to courts, Apple has repeatedly helped China control dissent. Apple has removed apps from the App Store that helps protesters coordinate where to gather, and now Apple is continuing with that partnership by banning the ability for people to airdrop in China, as Apple rushed out the change in an update in early October that only targeted Chinese phones and claimed to only be bug fixes, which was a lie. Apple is directly working with the Chinese government to suppress the freedom of speech of Chinese citizens. Apple is choosing profit over the ability of people to speak freely, and now they are going after Twitter, as Apple has a lot of power, as if there's an app that doesn't follow Apple's rules, they will remove that app. For example, Apple suspended the Parler app, and for a while, there was no way you could get that app at all on the App Store or online or anywhere. It was completely gone. There was fear that this situation with Parler would happen with Twitter, and Apple would ban the Twitter app. As someone asked Elon Musk if Apple was threatening Twitter's presence in the App Store or making moderation demands, Elon Musk responded by saying yes, which is huge, as if Tim Cook decided to ban Twitter, then it would cause an uproar and a possible violation of freedom of speech in the United States. However, after Elon Musk met with Tim Cook and went on a tour of Apple headquarters, Tim Cook changed his mind and actually claimed that Apple wasn't even considering banning the Twitter app at all from the App Store. This is a good thing because we the people should be able to have whatever app we want. And this whole situation shows that Apple has a huge monopoly on what apps you can and can't have. This is happening in China with the banning of certain apps, and it could also happen in the United States if we don't stay vigilant and we don't fight back against Apple's monopoly. There were even some reports that Elon Musk would create his own phone because of Apple's monopoly, which could be very interesting. Once again, it's interesting that Elon Musk is trying to create a free speech platform, and the White House and people on the left are going after him, calling him a right-wing troll. While Tim Cook is able to literally ban free speech, and people continue to buy his phones and claim that he's a good person. Once again, we have to ask why. Well, it's politics. as when Elon Musk bought Twitter, he stole a left-wing playground where the company was able to ban people that said things that they didn't like. They were able to blacklist and shadow ban people that they didn't like or who they thought were spreading misinformation. They were able to block different stories that could have affected the results of the 2020 election. And in a shocking twist, we found out that the Democratic Party was working with the people at Twitter to do all of these different things. And we found all of this out as Elon Musk released internal emails from former Twitter employees that were called the Twitter Files. Now, I don't have all day, so I can't go through every single little detail about the Twitter Files. But I think I can explain them well enough so then you can understand what the radical leftists working at Twitter did before Elon Musk took over. The first drop of the Twitter Files was huge, as it explained the deep ties that the Democratic Party had with Twitter in trying to manipulate different information. As the Biden team was writing Twitter and telling them to look at different profiles that were spreading quote-unquote misinformation according to the Biden team. And according to Twitter, it was quote-unquote handled. Here's the thing though. Both parties, meaning Biden and Trump, were able to write Twitter and get rid of accounts. But the system wasn't fair because most of the Twitter staff leaned on the left, so they focused more on helping the Biden team. This was clear with the Hunter Biden laptop story, as the higher-ups in Twitter were actually meeting with the FBI, and they told them that there was going to be Russian misinformation out there, just like there was in 2016. So they decided to ban the Hunter Biden laptop story 100%. You couldn't even repost it or post it on Twitter. Even Kayleigh McEnany, the press secretary, was banned from Twitter for posting this very story. These files prove that Twitter directly influenced the 2020 election by blocking stories and high-profile accounts. Now, let me be clear. Does this mean that the 2020 election was rigged and we should throw out the 2020 election and make Trump president again? No, but it showed that Twitter definitely had their thumb on the scale when it comes to what information was spread and what information wasn't spread. It would be interesting to see what the election results would have been like if the Hunter Biden laptop story came out and was labeled as true. Would more people have seen it on social media or on the news? And would it change their vote? According to the Post-Millennial, yes, it would have changed some people's votes, as 16% of people in a poll claimed that they would have changed their vote if they knew about the Hunter Biden laptop story. Now, 16% is not a huge margin, but it is high in states that were really close in 2020, like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Georgia. It could have had an impact. Now, I don't believe that dead people voted in 2020, but I do believe that the media, along with Twitter, were working with the Biden team to stop the spread of information that could have hurt Joe Biden. And that proof is in the Twitter files. However, it just goes deeper, as Twitter had a secret blacklist of people that they deemed to be controversial, so they suppressed their speech. Like Dr. J, which last name I don't know how to pronounce, you will see it on the screen, but he said that the COVID-19 lockdowns were bad, and Twitter put him on a blacklist so people couldn't see his information. This happened to conservative commentator Dan Bongino, who was search blacklisted, and his Twitter profile was seen as not safe for work. This happened again to Charlie Kirk, who was labeled as not safe for work, and his account was not to be amplified by Twitter. Last but not least, the account that raised the most alarms for Twitter was Libs of TikTok, which on their profile it said, "Do not take action on user without consent with SIP-PES. It is crazy to me that throughout the years, Twitter has said over and over and over again that they weren't shadow banning people because of their political beliefs. Why is it that all the people that were shadow banned just so happened to be conservatives? Here's the kicker though. They could say that they weren't shadow banning, but that they were visibly filtering. It means the exact same thing, and it was directly affecting conservative accounts on Twitter, and no one on the left was affected by these different shadow bans. Twitter files 3 and 5 were all related to the banning of Donald Trump. The employees at Twitter knew the severity of the situation. As one Twitter employee wrote, "Is this the first sitting head of state to ever be suspended?" And the thing is that Twitter had a rule about banning world leaders. They said that it was a bad thing because elected world leaders play a critical role in the conversation because of their impact on society. Twitter ignored this and decided to ban Trump while he was still the president of the United States. Then there was another revelation in these Twitter files, and that was that Twitter employees were meeting with the FBI about this situation, just like they were with the Hunter Biden laptop story. Twitter was also putting labels on different stories that just so happened to be true. As Trump wrote on Twitter and claimed that 50,000 Ohio voters were getting the wrong ballots. And guess what? It turned out to be true. It was fact-checked by NPR. And other Twitter files followed this same notion. Twitter knew that Trump didn't violate any of the Twitter terms, but they banned him anyway, because they said that Trump was using coded language to incite violence. As Trump claimed that his supporters were American patriots, and according to Twitter, this made Trump responsible for all the violence that happened on January 6th. And according to this Twitter employee, Twitter now views Trump as the leader of a terrorist group comparable to Christchurch shooter or Hitler, and on the basis and on the totality of his tweets, he should be deplatformed. This is absolutely ridiculous, and also incredible that Twitter had this trove of evidence that was all locked up and is now being exposed by Elon Musk. Twitter didn't care about the First Amendment, and the idea of freedom of speech was gone from the minds of former Twitter employees. Now that Elon Musk owns the platform, all of that is changing. Elon Musk is trying desperately to get rid of child pornography off the platform because according to Twitter, it didn't violate their terms of service. And this former employee named Yoel Roth has many tweets talking about porn on Twitter and how much he likes it. One of them claims, "Can high school students ever meaningfully consent to sex with their teachers?" He is talking about teenagers having sex with their teachers. This person is sick, and he didn't deserve to be anywhere near Twitter. Who said or did what? He should have been banned from Twitter. This is why Elon Musk is hated by the left, because he bought Twitter as a meme, and now he is in the middle of a crime scene. He has stolen the leftist paradise of Twitter, and is now turning it into something everyone can enjoy. Could you imagine if Twitter was still run by these scumbags? How much more information would have been banned? How many more accounts would have been suppressed? How many more accounts would have been banned? How many conservatives would have been banned? And what would have happened in the next election? In the end, it's exciting to see Elon Musk bring all of this corruption to light. It will create a better and free society for all. This, however, isn't the end of the Twitter files, as Elon Musk will probably release more, which I will have to talk about. But until then, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And if this is my last episode for the year, I want to thank you all for a great year and have a Merry Christmas. And remember, be good, be kind, be loving. Goodbye.